Kia ora. Greetings. This is for Pisces New Moon on the 2nd of March. We're looking at this time for the collective, the energies around at this time. So we're doing a Celtic cross this week, and this is for the global community where we are shuffling as we go. So let's see what we can get to come out, and then we'll talk about it face down, these cards to begin with. Then we can talk about it. Hey Puss, Puss has come to visit. Minnie Moo. Oh. Bear with me. Oh. And moving forward. So we're looking at the central point. Obviously, it is a modified, shortened Celtic cross that I usually do. Otherwise, we'd be here for hours. Okay, moving forward. Here we go. So let us turn these cards over and see what we've got. Pisces New Moon. It does feel that in my small sphere here that things have sort of slowed down quite a bit. People are retracting a little bit. Maybe that's generally because of what we are experiencing here, which is probably a sort of delayed version of what's been experienced throughout the rest of the world down here in Aotearoa. So, yeah, things have just sort of slowed down, retracted, people retracting a little bit. I guess no doubt to build up again, energies decrease and increase constantly. So let's just have a look. Central point, we have the Princess of Swords, a card of defense. You can't really say any more than that. I mean, it doesn't last long though. This is not an ongoing sort of condition or process. It is just a state that that comes and passes reasonably quickly. This princess is really flailing around, trying to disperse the cloud and what bogies may lay or lie behind these clouds. She is flailing around with her sword. We come out actually crossed with the Nine of Wands, which is in fact a card of habitual defense, of patterns that have built up over a long period of time. So it's kind of appropriate, really. So it is crossed by the Nine of Wands. Classically, Nine of Wands, wounded warrior. Princess of Swords, this is very fast-moving energy here. So this cumulus doesn't last for long. It does clear, and then we are able to see a clearer view of what's in front of us, or what's literally right in front of us. The basis of this is the Six of Wands, which is a winning card, looking pretty good actually. Recognition. I do get a sense of some kind of respect, recognition of keeping cool in a time that's really potentially quite explosive, actually. Keeping cool, but being aware of that, being aware of this Nine of Wands. We don't actually I was going to say, it's just what I hear. We don't know what we see at this time. We don't know what we see. So however that rolls for you, But, we need to be aware in this 9 of habits of old, of robotic habits, of defense. There is a need here to have an open mind. I think that can garner us levels of recognition, actually, or respect that appear in the 6 of Wands, because that is a card of service to others, remember, as well. What's recently behind us is the Aeon is, in fact, the Judgment card in the Thoth deck. Judgment. I think in series of readings, actually, if I hark back to the past, for the latter part of 2019, doing a lot of readings at that time, and seeing Judgment coming up time and time again. Judgment and the Tower, Judgment and Justice, Judgment and the Wheel of Fortune, Judgment and the World coming up constantly. So I think we can see collectively anyway, this is what we've been experiencing as much as any global pandemic, is Judgment being in some ways in either an offshoot of the ramifications of this pandemic, but also it has in some ways allowed certain things to come to the surface and to be seen. Current position collectively, we're speaking collectively, and these are incredibly general readings. If they do resonate, that's wonderful for you. And if they don't, they don't. The 8 of Discs, a card of working, perfecting, focusing, really focused. We're quite concerned, not concern isn't the right word actually in the 8 of Discs. We're quite focused. We're quite determined actually that this thing that we're perfecting, that we're working on, that we're repeating over and over again to the point where it is at its best, where we're satisfied with the results of our hard work. We're very protective of this. We're very protective of this new creation of sorts. In this card, we see the beautiful petals protected quite well by the foliage here. And this is a tree which, it's not a young tree. It's been there for a long time. It continuously produces its flower or its fruit. Its longevity. It's like the long game, not the short game here with this 8 of Discs. The long game, not the short game. Moving forward, we will clarify these cards. Moving forward, we have 2 cards. We have the Hanged Man to begin with. These are quite extreme, actually. We have the Hanged Man and the Fool coming out moving forward. The Hanged Man is telling us that in order to be able to take off on a new journey, there's nothing in, nothing out here, because we need to shift perspectives. This is what the Hanged Man is largely about. Shifting perspective, understanding something, the penny drops. Aha! Aha! This is what the Hanged Man is. And we need that place. We need to be in that place for a while before we come out here fresh and new again. So we're dealing with the hard work aspects of these times that we live in. It's hard work. It's actually hard work to retain a level of balance. Because in the 6 of Wands at the basis of all of this, it is a completely balanced card. It's totally balanced. Number 6 on the Tree of Life. Anyway, let's go through and have a look. So there are levels of, flailing around, not actually seeing what's in front of us. But there will be a time where we do. There will be a period where we do. It still doesn't mean that it's okay to behave in a robotic sort of defensive manner, is what the cards are saying today. I'm shuffling the wrong cards. We want to clarify here for this reading. Princess of Swords. Princess of Swords. Yeah, look, there's a level here in this action of trying to dissipate these clouds, and the central point here. There's a background to it, which is a background, right, of lack. A background of a series of mindsets, experiences that give rise to that Princess of Swords. It also give rise to this Nine of Wands. And we have the Five of Discs here. Now, the Five of Discs is a lack mentality. It is questioning what we deserve. What is our value? What is our value? We choose not to receive. It's a card of lack, full stop. It is a card of choosing lack. That gives us an arsenal of excuses moving forward. You know what I mean? It gives us a great arsenal of excuses, Excuses don't really cut it. I mean, I'm sure some people out there know what I'm saying. I mean, obviously, we can be a victim. Most of us have that archetype. I'd say every human on the planet does. And sometimes it gets to play itself out. I think we're seeing a lot of things playing themselves out right now. Let's have a look at the Nine of Wands. This is actually a really positive reading. Let's have a look at the Nine of Wands, please. The Nine of Wands, keeps us sort of bonded to those habits of old, those habits of defense. Couldn't say it more clearly. We have the Devil card in the Morgan Greer deck. This is really a classical Devil card. It is about bondage, emotional bondage, psychological bondage to habit, to convenience, convenient behavior, convenient default mechanisms within ourselves. We see this just totally here. It's just clear as clear can be. But let's come down to the Six of Wands, where we clarify the Six of Wands. Beautiful card of victory. The basis of this is that ideally, is this being a collective reading that everyone wants and needs recognition, to have their voice heard. When we overcome habits of old, when we overcome victimization, that's true power, isn't it? Six of Wands, please. Just a card for the six. Am I on track or am I off? Sometimes the cards, we get the Six of Wands again. I think I'm on track here. Can we get one more card to clarify? Two Six of Wands, please. To clarify the two sixes, we get the Hermit. Self-analysis can be very, very useful, not only for ourselves individually, but for others around us. This is not just looking into the corners of your own psyche or shadow, whatever way you want to look at it. It's also taking on the role of being a guide for others. This is a very Virgo card, the Hermit. With that, we have a beautiful, another 6. We've got the 6 of Cups, remembering unconditional, non-obligational giving and receiving. Hopes and dreams of childhood, people returning to us from the past that we have very strong connections to. There's a level of recognition here in terms of collective development, actually, collective overcoming of difficult times. Let's have a look at judgment here. It's very, this new moon in Pisces really, I always think of Pisces as being very forgiving, sort of transcending archetype. Can we look at the Eon judgment, please? There's a little praying mantis doing a wee cruise along the window there. I think he's been hanging out in this house for a wee while. Can we look at judgment, please? If I'm on the right track again, can we look at judgment? We have the Knight of Swords cutting through. The Princess flails. The Knight really moves fast and cuts through a lot of shit. Can we just have one more card for that, which was judgment and the Knight? The Knight of Swords. Phew, this is strong stuff. We get the Queen of Wands. This expression of, it's like it's been a long time coming. It's been lying under the surface for a long time. Judgment brings all of this up. We're lancing the boil, as it were. And remember, this is recent past. The beautiful Queen comes through with her sunflowers here, but the strong, fiery character in cahoots with the Knight of Swords. It's sort of a purification of sorts. It feels like those 3 cards. Current position of the 8 of discs, lovely card. Card of great commitment, actually. So we have 2 more cards to clarify the 8. We have the Page of Wands, experimental, beginner's mind, taking risks. We're taking risks here because we have to. With our burgeoning, what we've been working upon, trying to perfect these beautiful fruits, petals of the tree. We need to be experimental in the way that we present this to the world. This in itself is a victory, dear collective. This in itself is a victory. With that, we have the Death card. Couldn't be more self-explanatory, really. There's a transformation of how you could look at it, literally, how we work upon what we do, what we consider work. That's a very literal way of looking at it. We're coming up with things here. We're producing something out of this global experience. We're producing something that is part of a general overall transformation. And we protect its entry into this 3-dimensional world. To a certain degree, we have to. And yet we have to be risk-taking and experimental to even embark upon this. It's like a hero's journey, sort of. It feels like to me. Or maybe a fool's journey. Let's clarify. We just had the 4 of Swords coming out. With this, within this transformation here, currently, we get some respite. I do think at this time, really important to rest anyway. To let things pass through and rest as much as what you need to. As much as what you need to. We get the 10 of discs coming out. This is our history, our family history, the wealth we see around us in terms of where we belong, our loyalties, our values, where we belong, what we've been taught. You know, maybe a lot of these things that we've been taught changing. We're altering those things. We need the stability of knowing where we come from and our place. Where is the place where we belong? But that doesn't mean that we don't run with the bull. We can work with and take those things that are beneficial, not just to ourselves, but to other people. We can take those things, those values, loyalties that we've learned, and take them forward into a new future. Okay, things that we've worked on. And the work that people have put into us, we bring it forward, you know. Hanged Man, please, moving forward with the Fool. Hanged Man, this time of, well, respite. We're just like hanging for a bit. We get the Fool again. We need this. We did it twice. We need this in order to move forward. Hanged Man, please. And we also need that Ace of Cups. We need to embrace this gift. This is a gift. Actually, beyond all the trials, tribulations, got to see this time as a great key in shifting balances, rebalancing the imbalances, and altering actually what our futures can be. And we're doing that in the now. It's quite amazing. It's quite beautiful actually having that. We have the, I'll just say this briefly, we have the 5 of Swords on the bottom of the deck. Self-sabotage, sneaky behaviour, secrets, lies. And we have the Star on the top, bridging that gap, rising above it, going beyond it, healing, and really believing that those, those dreams and wishes and hopes of congruency and balance really can come true here. So that's quite beautiful. I'm just going to get a little Harlequin card, see what comes out for this new moon in Pisces reading, if you've managed to continue to watch, which I don't think many people do. Yeah, it's 2 major things that can be of great benefit at this time. Objectivity, and faith and objectivity. Keys to this time. I hope you enjoyed this reading, coming in with all the signs over the next day or so, and so take good care. Enjoy this beautiful, really transcendent kind of new moon, and plant those seeds. This is Time and Tides Lightroom Forecast. Thanks for joining me.